Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today is Savory Saturday, where I prepare a meal or a recipe out of the Run Fast, Cook Fast, Eat Slow cookbook that's geared specifically towards runners and our nutritional needs. Today, I woke up to several inches of new fallen snow, so I think the menu choice that I picked for today is going to be perfect. And now it's called Superfood Soup. So on a day like today, when I know it's cold and I still have to go out and shovel all that new fallen snow, when I'm done and I come back in, I'm going to be looking forward to enjoying a big hearty bowl of this superfood soup. So let's just get into it because I still have to go out and shovel. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is just list off the ingredients that you're going to need in case you want to follow at home or prepare this for yourself. And you're going to need 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You're also going to need 2 carrots that are peeled and diced, 2 celery stalks that are diced, 1 yellow onion that's diced, 2 teaspoons of fine sea salt, 2 tablespoons of curry powder, 1 sweet potato. They have yam in parentheses that's unpeeled and cut to about 1/2-inch dice. You have 1 can, which is 13.5 ounces of unsweetened coconut milk, 1 can, or 14.5 ounces of diced tomatoes, 1 can, 15 ounces of chickpeas or garbanzo beans, 3 cups chopped kale with the stems that are removed, and the juice of 1 lime. Okay, so once you've gathered all that stuff together, this video is going to be a little bit different than the ones I've done in the past because I'm going to be working over at my stove. So the first thing we need to do in the instructions is to take our olive oil and heat it up in a pan. So I'm going to move to my stove, and we're going to get started. Okay, so to make things go a little bit faster for us, I've already done the prep work. So I did all of that dicing that I mentioned there a second ago when we were talking about the ingredients that we need to prepare our superfood soup. But it did take me a little while. It wasn't terribly bad, but the prep work for this meal is a little bit longer than the other meals that we've prepared so far on the channel using the Run Fast, Cook Fast, Eat Slow cookbook. All right, I'm going to open this up just to make sure that I'm following the directions. So I got this kind of off to the side here a little bit. Now, what we need to do is to heat up our olive oil first. So I am going to go ahead and get that process started. And I've already pre-measured my olive oil. So I'm just going to cover kind of the bottom of this stock pan here. Okay, and it says to heat it to like a medium high heat. So let's do that first. And then once that's done, we're going to start to add we'll add our carrots, our celery, our onions, our salt, and then we're going to cook it till it just softens. We don't want it to turn brown, we just want it to soften up a little bit. And they have a suggested time of around 5 minutes. So let's let that oil heat up, and then we'll start adding our ingredients. All right, so our oil is heated up, and again, it's a medium-high heat. I'm going to grab a little bit of a wooden spoon here, and I'm going to start adding in, again, first our carrots. You can kind of hear it sizzling there. Our celery. Our onions. Okay, and I think that's it for, our salt. I almost forgot our salt. Oh no. Okay, so we need 2 teaspoons of salt, and that's the fine sea salt. Well, as soon as it hits that oil, you can start to smell the ingredients already. All right, now we've got our carrots, our celery, our onion, and our sea salt. This says for about 5 minutes. And again, we don't want it to turn brown. We just want to soften them up a little bit. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, and they seem pretty soft and not brown. So I think we're off to a good start. All right, so next we need to add in our curry powder. And we're going to cook it for an extra 30 seconds. Now I need 2 tablespoons, so that's 1. I guess I Probably could have measured out 2 to begin with. But that's okay. All right, there's 2. We want to give it another 30 seconds. Just kind of mix that all in there. Oh yeah, the aroma's starting to build. Of course, the onions are coming through, but now with that curry powder, that brings in a whole new scent. It's really starting to take shape. And the curry powder, interesting, kind of soaked up a lot of that excess olive oil that was in the pot. So it's much drier now. All right, so at this point we need to add 5 cups of cold water. So let's do that. And I've already got that pre-measured out. All right. And then we need to add our sweet potatoes. Oh, I love sweet potatoes. All right. We also need to add our coconut milk and our tomatoes, chickpeas, pretty much the rest of the ingredients except for the kale and the lime. So let's do the coconut milk first. I dropped my groceries. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I dented my can. Bring it in, brought it into the house. I think I scared Kim because I just dropped it. And boy, oh boy, I know I definitely scared the cats. They all took off for running. Woo! All right, so we got our coconut milk in there. And our beans. I love the pull tabs on these. This makes life a lot easier. For garbanzo beans or chickpeas. Oh, I need to do our tomatoes, but I need to open that can. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll be adding our diced tomatoes here very soon. All right, so we got our diced tomatoes open. Let's add that to our mix. Give that a good stir. Okay, now it says to bring to a boil, then reduce the heat, simmer covered, stirring occasionally until the sweet potatoes are soft. So about 20 minutes is what they suggest, and so be careful not to overcook it. So I will definitely be paying attention to the time. All right, let's get this to a boil. I got it pretty well mixed up at this point. To make it a little faster to get to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and put the top on it. All right, we're getting there. Okay, so I brought it to a boil. Now I'm just gonna cover it back up. And we need to reduce the heat to simmer. Just gonna leave it covered for about 20 minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll add our kale and our lime juice. Okay, so I'd set my timer for 20 minutes so I didn't overcook it. Let's check in and see how we're doing. I did stir it a couple different times over the course of that 20 minutes just to make sure things weren't sticking to the bottom. Okay, so we want to stir in the kale and we just want to let it wilt. So we're not going to have it be overdone. And just a kind of a quick note about the kale, it does say 3 cups and you can see that this is a 2-cup measuring. Now with greens like kale or spinach, that kind of thing, roughly 20 grams is equal to a cup. So I've got 60 grams in here. And to get it to fit in this 2-cup measuring, I had to kind of mush it down in there. I just didn't have any other place to really keep it. So I do actually have 3 cups worth in here. I just had to really mush it down in the cups to get it all in. Oh, it looks delicious. All right, I'm gonna stir that in and let it wilt. Get to the point where it's wilting just a little bit. That won't take long. All right, so our kale has been wilted. So let's go ahead and add our lime juice. Now 1 lime produces about 2 tablespoons, so I just cut mine in half. And if you need more, it says obviously just add as much as you like to taste. You can do that with the salt as well, as they suggest. I think 1 lime is probably going to be plenty for me. There we go. And we're going to turn off the heat. I'm going to stir in the lime. Now, I was going to wait and enjoy a bowl after I got my driveway cleared from the new fallen snow, as I mentioned earlier. But I think I'm just going to jump in and have a bowl now because this just smells terrific. I think you could easily call this sweet potato soup rather than superfood soup, because sweet potato is probably the majority of the base of the soup. But it has, a good deal of tomatoes and all kinds of good stuff, lots of minerals. The coconut milk, for example, is a natural antiviral property, so it can help ward off colds and flu. And the curry powder gives it that kind of that Indian-inspired meal or flavor. So if you like that kind of, if you have that in your palate, then I think you'll enjoy this as well. Now, the curry powder also is an anti-inflammatory, so that's always a good thing, especially as runners. Okay, I'm going to dish up a bowl. Now, this serves 8, but it makes a lot. You can't really see it in the stock pot that well, but it's filled up pretty far. So you can freeze your leftovers and put them in individual sized portions, so you have a quick meal anytime that you want it, already prepped and ready to go. The other thing is, they suggest that you could serve the leftovers over something like brown rice, so you could change it up a little bit as well. Again, it serves 8. I will put the nutritional facts up on the screen. I haven't figured all of that out yet, but once I get a chance to add up all of the ingredients and put all that together, I'll put that up on the screen for you. Again, they're not big on necessarily the calorie count and that kind of thing in this cookbook, but I still like to know. I like to know like the carb count and protein count and that kind of thing. I'm gonna dish up a pretty good sized bowl of this because this is about the time of day that I would have what I would refer to as my second breakfast. I guess it's not really a second breakfast because your breakfast is when you break your fast, but it would be my second meal of the day. So I guess this is about the time that I would have my second meal of the day. So I'm a little bit hungry anyway, so this will give me a little extra energy I'm gonna need to go out and clear all that snow. All right. Let's take this over and dig in. It smells delicious. All right, so that's it for today's video. Hey, thanks for making it to the end. If you decide to make this for yourself, let me know how it goes and how you like it. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, right here on Run Tall with Tim. Very good. I'll definitely be looking forward to a second bowl of this after coming in from the cold.